I'm a husband. I am a rapper. I'm a pastor of Slingshot Church. But yeah, man, I'm 31 years old. Grew up in Omaha, Nebraska. I was born in Detroit. Growing up, moved around a lot. I don't know, kind of never really found my footing as far as like a place where I belong. But I think because of that, it's made me really, really self-reliant, and so there's been some benefits with that too. So I started making music around 15. The story around that is kind of crazy. I got a brain infection at the beginning of my sophomore year in high school, and like I almost died. Like it took me out of school for like an entire semester. But when I returned back, I was actually ahead because I had this teacher that would come to my house, and basically we would do assignments and everything, and so I ended up getting ahead. And so when I went back to school, I had all these study halls. I had 3 study halls, and my mom wouldn't let me get an early out. So, so I had to stay, and so I had 3 study halls. So what I would do is I would download beats off of SoundClick. If you guys remember that, I'm just kind of showing my age, but we would download beats from SoundClick, and I would like sneak my Walkman, like my CD player, and I would like put my ear up to the backpack, and I would play music, and I would just write rhymes, and I just tried it out. So that's when everything kind of started. There was a guy at my church, and he heard some of my music. I let him hear some of it, and he like took me kind of under his wing. He took me to the studio. He paid for all my studio time and everything, and I put my first mixtape out my junior year in high school. So that was really how everything got rolling after that. So the name of that mixtape was My Mission. I used to go by Preach. It's not really that great, but it was enough there, to make me want to keep going. It was enough there. At least in that moment, I thought I was the man, though. You know what I mean? Like you start putting stuff out, you think it's like the hottest stuff ever. I listen to it now, I'm like, oh, fam, this is not great. I think it was, the response that I was getting. I think it was the fact that like people were saying they could relate to it, and they're talking about specifically which songs were standing out to them and everything. So I think having that encouragement early on is really what pushed me to keep going. I thought about quitting a million times, and it feels like every single time I was getting ready to quit, or I was ever ready to turn it in, something happens that just confirms that I'm on the right path, and breakthrough happens, So like, I remember I was getting ready to like write my retirement letter. I was ready to like, I'm finished, I'm done. And the same day that I was getting ready to do that, I received, I got notice that I was going to be playing A3C for the Rappersville Showcase. And so it was like, but it's like stuff like that happens all the time, where it's like, I feel like right when I'm getting ready to just like turn around, like God's like, whoa, hold up, fam, like we riding, you know what I mean? Like there's too much, and I brought you too far for you to just turn it in now. And so every once in a while, I get those reminders that, nah, man, you gotta keep going. What keeps me from not quitting is that, but it's also remembering the impact that we have made, right? And so the DMs, the people who say that they want to live now because they heard a song or something, like those are the things that like push me to keep going. And I think if I keep that in the forefront, it doesn't matter what the numbers look like. It doesn't matter, what accolades or trophies or awards or whatever I get. It could never compare to the fact that somebody's life was impacted or changed by some art that I created. So it's not about awards. It's not about that. It's about making an impact. It's about this dream. It's about worship. It's about all that. And so it's like 3 years where like they'll put out they'll say, hey, well, who y'all think should be on the freshman list? And like people would like tag me. And this year specifically, people were tagging me. And I had found out in 2017 that I wasn't even eligible to make the list. So I was like, when I found that out, I was like, all right. So it was cool in a way because it made me start grinding and moving for a different purpose, like really checking my motives and being like, okay, why are we actually doing this? Because this thing that I wanted at one point is not available for me anymore. So when people were tagging me this year, the very first thing I said was like, yo, fam, like stop tagging me. Like I'm not eligible to win it. Like stop at me. But people kept at me. They just kept going, they kept going, kept going. And so eventually I was like, why am I fighting this? I just need to say thank you. I know I'm not eligible, but let me just thank everybody who has been, nominating me. And then when it happened, right, and I was on the ballot, I was like, okay, like y'all stop playing with me because I know. And then I found out they threw all the rules out, and basically because of how streaming is now, it's like, everything's now on the table, you can do whatever. And so when they said that, when those rules were out, they're like, bro, you were a shoo-in. So when they announced it, it was like, oh, that's crazy, because I never thought, I wasn't moving thinking that was a possibility for me. So the fact that it happened was really, really cool. And yeah, I would be lying if I didn't say that was a dream in the back of my head that I wanted to have happen at some point. So it was cool to see that happen, but it was also, I think it was even cooler that it happened when I thought it wasn't going to, or it happened as a byproduct of the hard work versus me trying to get it, if that makes sense. Chaos is, so Chaos is a single that's close to my heart. It's something that I think as creatives start to get older, we begin to feel certain pressure. There was stuff that I thought I would be, there's places I thought I would be by this age that I'm not at right now, so I think as you get older, there's this clock that we feel like is ticking. And I think the more you allow that clock to determine what you do, and the more you allow it to really impact you in a negative way, I think the more chaotic your life becomes. I knew that, man, I needed to find balance. And I knew balance happens when you have a good perspective on everything. And so really the song was describing my plight and describing where I am and the hurt and the struggle I'm having right now. But it was also talking about, man, I know what the solution is, and it's really about my perspective, and it's really about clinging to God, and it's really about being grateful, and it's really about allowing God's voice to direct my life and understanding His timing on things. And His perfect timing isn't going to be what I think it is. But whenever, like I said, whenever certain things like work out, it's like, oh man, like I'm glad it happened that way and not the way that I thought it was going to, because it worked out so much better than I thought it would. And so right now I'm just seeing the fruit of that, of just God showing out, man, and seeing that, man, if what has happened or what's happening now had happened earlier when I thought it would, I wouldn't have been ready. I wouldn't have been mature enough for it. And I feel like I'm in a place now where I have the opportunity to be a leader and in spaces that I didn't think I was ever going to be. Early on, I was very self-righteous. Even though it was like Christian music, in a way, I was still like in my heart was really, really self-centered and arrogant, and thought I was above and better than everybody. And so after high school, I was gonna go to Bible college, and I thought I was just gonna go there to get more knowledge, and I was like, oh, it's gonna be good for my rhymes. I don't know, man. I just thought, this would be good. And what I was met with wasn't more knowledge. It was, I was broken. I was like, every part of me that was like wrong, every part of me that was like not like Christ was like exposed, right? And I was like basically met with my humanity. I was met with my shortcomings, and it was like, dog, like I gotta deal with this, And it's not anything that you ever arrive to, but it started the journey of being like, man, like I'm messed up and broken and just as, screwed up as everybody. The only difference that I have is that I found Christ, and that was really it, And so And so I think that's kind of what began that sense of vulnerability, was like, man, I don't know, I just started living that out in front of people, if that makes sense. I just didn't want to be, I wanted to be more self-aware. And I wanted other people to see that, man, it is okay to not be perfect. It is okay to be, to struggle with certain things. Like, as long as you're staying submitted to him and you're allowing him to work with you, you can still be used. And so that's kind of what started that journey for me. All right, so every 3 weeks this year, I'm gonna be dropping a new single, followed by a new visual, and then a sit down with you guys, just like this, letting you guys see a little bit more of my life, and I want you guys to learn a little bit more about me. And I appreciate each and every one of you who have been part of this journey so far. I appreciate each and every one of you who are new to this journey, and hopefully we can grow closer. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.